What is the purpose of the slots in an acoustic guitar bridge, and how do you make them? I like to put the slot in the bridge hole just in front of the bridge pin hole, and the reason why is to help that string that has the ball end go all the way up and seat properly against the bottom of that bridge patch. Now remember, that string is double wound, so it's important that that slot you put in there matches the diameter of the string as closely as possible. Another reason that people put that slot is to help the break angle of the string over the saddle. When done properly, you can increase the downward tension or pressure on that saddle, and that translates into better tone. Now, to answer the second part of your question, how you do them, let's go over the bench and I'll show you. So what I do is I start just by putting a mark right in the center of the bridge pin hole where I want the slot to be. Now, this is an old bridge I pulled off a previous guitar. It already has some slots in it, but you'll get the idea here. So what I'm going to use is a couple of specialty saws I got from StewMac. One has a little bit wider blade and one has a little bit narrower blade. I used the wider blade for the 6th and the 5th string, and then I used the narrower blade for the rest of the string slots. I find that if you put the saws into a little piece of paraffin here, that it helps them cut a little bit more smoothly. So it's a location clearly marked where you want to cut the slot. Just come in with your saw and just start cutting. And I usually like to cut to about the front edge of the bevel that I've created there for the bridge pin. If you also want to begin to angle it back a little bit, you can. And you can also angle it forward just a little bit. Later, when it actually goes on the guitar, then I'll actually put a 45-degree angle on there, because later you have to cut through the actual soundboard and the bridge patch as well. This is just before I glue it on. With the 6th string and the 5th string slot done, I'm now going to do the rest of the slots using the narrower blade. Now, that's how you make the slots. However, we're not done. I like to widen the slots to the correct diameter of the strings. So what I use to widen the slot is these specialty files that I got from StewMac. They're specifically made for this purpose, and they have diameters that closely match the string diameters. So if you look at the back of your package of strings, you'll see a little chart that gives you the string diameters. Choose the file that matches closely to the actual string diameter. So the 6th string is 53 thousandths in my case, and I just happen to have a file that is 53 thousandths, so it's going to match perfect. I just come inside there and just file that so that string will fit perfectly inside there. And if you want to go ahead and start cutting it at a 45-degree angle, you can. You can also go this way as well. But the idea is, when you get all done, is just to put a nice round 45-degree angle approximately from the front edge of that bevel all the way back into the bridge, through the soundboard and into the bridge patch. So for the 5th string, my string diameter is 42 thousandths, and I happen to have a file that is 43 thousandths, so just come in and do the same thing. My next string is 32 thousandths. I happen to have a file that is 28, and I don't think that that is going to complain about that extra little 4 thousandths there. Probably just with the motion of my hand, I'm getting the extra 4 thousandths into it. On the remaining strings, I usually just leave them alone, because the actual saw that I use to cut it is already wider than the string. So now when you place your string into the slot, the string should engage into that slot, and you can play your guitar without a bridge pin. Which brings up another question. What's the purpose of the bridge pin? Well, the purpose of the bridge pin is to fill the gap in the hole. You can actually play the guitar without the bridge pin. It just looks bad and you're losing tone. So that's to help with the tone and help keep that string engaged in there and fill that void.